Hello there and welcome. Welcome to a brand new one-day special. And of course it's going to be a corker because we are continuing with the Fabazine of a kind of series. Can you believe we're on to issue number 3 already? Time has just simply flown by. And of course when we talk about Fabazine, we talk about fabulous little Hayley Smith over there. Little Hayley Smith and
Hi, machine. Yes, I love it.
How you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. You did the first one of these, didn't you?
I did, yeah, and that was right in the kind of the thick of lockdown.
I'll move this out the way maybe just for a little bit.
Yeah, the launch of this was right. It was probably about March time. Was it March, April time?
Right, they're every 2 months, so working it back, it would be April.
April, yeah. And it was right in the thick of lockdown. So we had obviously me launching here, and then Hayley was doing loads of kind of video tutorials.
But the video tutorials
really
are now kind of part of the Fabazine, so we try and do a video tutorial for every single project that's in there. Now, I must point out, there's still a couple from the older ones that we haven't been able to upload because somebody hacked our YouTube account. So we are working on getting those back up. They've only just let us go back and post things. So we're getting there.
Fair enough. Now, what Fabazine is all about, if you've never come across it before, let me explain. So you will get a little box that will arrive with all sorts of wonderful goodies in there, namely a book like this one, which will give you all the instructions, all the tuition for you to create some fabulous projects. But where do you get the elements for your project? Well, that is also in your box, and it is behind me because you will get a huge panel. Now, with the panel, it's actually, well, shall I step to the side just so you can have a little look at this? The panel is jam-packed full of elements, and you've got all sorts of projects. You can even be making a double-sided cushion here. You've got your fabulous cotton ball fabric here, and your kind of elements for making your mug covers, and there's loads in this, Hayley.
Yes, and every time I do one of these, I find more little spaces to squeeze another project in. Another project. You can see just beside that cotton ball fabric, there's a little green stripe.
Okay, yeah.
That's for one of the. I managed to get an extra flower in. So I've literally been squeezing bits and pieces everywhere.
So that would be one of these flowers that you're going to be able to create.
It would be. So in this one, you've got the string art vase that you can see there. That's one that our design team member Patty's done, and she kind of decorated the back of the panel first before putting the nails in. So you're getting the MDF board, you're getting the thread to thread it up with, and you're getting enough bits and pieces to make all 7 of those flowers, and that includes the straws that make the stem.
I love that, so you're going to be able to create those.
You are getting your apron.
I love this little apron here. You can see it. So with our little lady here,
the cupcake lady. Yes, so that one you're holding up actually. Josh, who's one of our guys who help with all the graphics and things, I told him that he needed to learn to sew because he needed to help me with the instructions. So that is his very first attempt at sewing.
That's a good
I know, look at it, and everything's proper neat and everything.
Looks amazing.
He's done a very good job.
Now,
so
of course,
you're getting mug rugs in there as well. They're somewhere down the bottom on the panel.
Yeah, they're down at the bottom
just
here.
See one poking through the gap there.
There you go.
So those you are getting enough to make 2 mug rugs. It counts as one project, but you're actually getting enough to make 2 mug rugs. But what you've got there is ones that Attractor did. Again, she's one of our lovely design team members, and I thank you all for getting these back to me so quickly. And she's done ones that are, well, what ours were double-sided. She's used them as individual sides, and she's managed to make 4 by adding a little bit of spotty fabric to make a lining. So she's done very, very well.
That's it. It's a frugal way of crafting, isn't it? And then, of course, you've got things that are like your templates, because you are going to get some amazing templates that come as part of this, which will allow you to do these fabulous curves.
So you've got
and
the kind of, it's designed for clamshell. And the clamshell's on the front of the big pack shot where we've got all the bits and pieces laid out. That template is very, very clever because it allows you to do Drunkard's Path, it allows you to do clamshell, it allows you to do all sorts of nifty kind of things.
Can I just draw attention to the way that Ben has put this together?
Like a little car.
It looks like a little car, doesn't it? Very creative.
Like or like a pram, maybe.
Is it? It could be a pram, could be a car, whichever way. Now, can I show you the Clamshell Quilt? Because, of course, this is something that many of us would love to be able to create. The template is going to help you create this. And look at this. I mean, obviously adding in your own fabrics.
I think people are scared of clamshells because of that big kind of half circle curve that they have to sew. This makes it much easier. It splits that sewing into 4. So you sew all your curves with a nice, easy little bits and then put them together like squares.
I love it.
So easy.
Now, the mug rugs you were talking about, if you're making them just as the pattern explains to you, then obviously you're going to be able to make them just like
your
so.
Elastics included.
There you go. Yeah,
as well.
It is indeed. Yeah, it is. You've got
That's your little thread catcher.
This is brilliant because you rotate it. You showed me earlier on, and you push that little base in, and there you go.
And it catches all your bits for you and holds them. So if you've got to put it in a bag, all the bits that you've kind of collected aren't going to fall out.
I love that idea. So you're going to be able to create one. The fabric is included again.
There's
a little makeup bag.
Little makeup bag in it. That's reversible, and it's got a little handle on the front.
Wonderful.
So you can make it either way out that you prefer.
Now, of course, this has got a little bit of wadding in, so we're going to need to find that ourselves.
That's the only thing that you need to add with the Fabazine is maybe a ½ a metre of wadding maximum.
Now this is interesting.
That's a little organiser.
That's
it's a little organiser. It stands up, and you can, if you put stronger cardboard than I've put in there, you can probably even rest your tablet against it.
Love it. Then as we move across, you can see that you're going to be able to learn how to do slashing with your fabric because you've got a project in there with your cotton ball.
That one, I've got one that I'm going to do as a demonstration, which is slightly different. So this one that I've got is how we originally intended it. So we intended it for the slashing technique just to be on that kind of cotton ball flower. But the one you've got over there, that's been done by Heather, one of our design team, and she's used them the other way around and slashed the whole thing. But again, if you're canny with this, you can probably get 2 cushions out of it, because there's the one with the brown front, and then the one underneath, which is the white one which I've got on here, which I've used as a backing for this, you can actually probably make a second cushion from.
This is it. You've actually got your backing fabric as well for the back of your cushion.
You've got enough backing that you can either make an envelope cushion, or if you want to make it into a bag, there's enough there to make a bag as well.
Love
You'll
it.
have to add handles, but you can do that.
Oh, you're going to be able to make your own duck.
Duck doorstop. He needs some beans, so you have to leave him for the minute because he needs some beans.
He's looking a bit floppy.
He is, yes, he is. Well, I'm going to show my working here because you do see a lot of kind of patterns and things, and we do design these all ourselves because I've brought my working in to show you that.
So these were prototypes.
I didn't like that one.
Okay.
And then I liked it when he was kind of pecking the ground, but it was too big. So then I've taken a bit off the pattern and I've tweaked it until you've got the one that's over there.
I love it.
You've got to show your work. It's like maths, isn't it?
It is. Got to show how you got the answer. This is cute.
So there's a little embroidoodle in there. So that starts life as just a plain piece of fabric for you to either colour in, or you can embroider if you wish. I've got another one over here in its kind of raw state. The plain one. So you can do lots of different things on that. That one's really for you to let go. But we do put, where's my book gone? We do put like a stitch suggestion in there. So, there it is. So we'll always put a stitch suggestion in there, and there's videos for all of these stitches, and you are going to get a couple of beginner stitches, so a couple of them are a little bit easier that you can maybe have a go at, and then there's 2 intermediate stitches. And then at the bottom there, you've got the slightly more advanced ones, like the bullion knots and things like that. So you are getting an awful lot of kind of tuition in there, and there's videos to support all of it as well.
You certainly do. So you are getting a box full of loads and loads of bits. So you're going to get your templates, you're going to get your MDF base for your vase to create your flowers. You're going to get the booklet that Hayley's just been showing us, and you're going to get things like your straws for your stems, your zips, your bias binding, your embroidery threads. They are all included. Don't forget the panel behind me as well. It works out at just £3.33 per project. You've got 12 projects in there, so they can keep you very, very busy. And of course, it is our birthday event. So as you would imagine, we have got a little birthday gift for you. Now, you're not getting this little teddy just as he comes to you here, as you can see him here. You're going to get a template where it's actually printed onto the fabric.
It's a printed fabric panel, so it's ready for you to embroider. There are some instructions with it as well. So what you need to do is embroider the panel first, then cut the pieces out, sew it all together, and that's who you'll get. And I have a coloured, you've got a one that's mostly kind of the neutral tones, the yellows and the golds, and then I've got another little chap who's all in the colours as well.
Love it, there you go. And that is regardless what you're placing your order for, that is your birthday bonus. And there's lots more that you might be choosing. But of course, the one day special is the big deal of this hour. This is the one where you are getting the saving. But we have got another little bundle that I'm going to tell you about. But already, from the one day special, that third edition of your Fabazine, then 20% of the stock has gone. Now, we have got another panel to share with you, which is
I love this so much.
And this one is Frank and Friends, featuring a little duck here. Now, you may well have come across Frank being mentioned by Hayley during her shows. And this is a recent addition, your little pet duck.
Yes, this is my pet duck, Frank. And I made him a set of stuff.
Oh, I thought you made the duck.
And I had to bribe him with peas to get that picture.
You had to bribe, what was
I had to
peas?
bribe him with peas.
Oh, bless him. So
He loves peas.
still.
Peas and sweet corn is anybody's.
Now, again, within here, obviously you've got all the elements that are going to teach you how to make your 3 projects within here. And you're going to get not only the elements for those 3 projects, but also 13 applique ducks for you to use as you choose.
Well, because we print the fabric, 13, yes, is an odd number. However, I've just squeezed in as many as I can possibly get on there.
I love it. So you've got your panel. You can see the panel over the far side there, and you can see all your fabric is already at the right sort of size. You're just cutting out those pieces.
With this one, you're actually getting the felt that goes in between the layers for the scissor keep, and you're getting the wadding, and you're getting the zip. So where the Fabazine, you have to add some wadding. This one comes with absolutely everything. All you will need is needle and thread.
It does indeed. So there you go. You've got your big piece of felt, actually. You zip there, and of course you can see your wadding featuring there. And of course it's kind of like a foam,
it's like
foam wadding.
It's all super stiff wadding, this one. So this is the one that is really, really good for creating things that are slightly more rigid. It's got a really nice feel to it, and we've used a faux binding technique on that one, so you can see there's little pockets down the side as well.
There is. Ooh,
so
yeah,
it's all very precariously balanced. So you've got pockets down each side, which you can put your little scissor keep and your little pouch into if you want. There's plenty of space on the inside as well. And then around the top of that one, as I said, we've used that faux binding technique to just create a little, make it look as if you've spent ages binding the top very carefully, but we've just cheated.
Well, that's it. And when you can print your fabric, you can do that, can't you? So there you go.
Yes,
that's the beauty of it. So if you fancy getting hold of your fabulous Frank and Friends, love that. You can actually learn how you can follow Frank as well, because he's got the details on the packaging there as well.
Oh, we think Frank's a girl, actually.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. Could be interested.
Frankie. There you go. Done.
Now, if you fancy getting hold of yours, the details are on your screen. Again, you've got a fabulous price with that one. And you, of course, have got that saving of £3. Well, because we've got 2 brand new bundles to share with you, what Hayley and Craft Yourself Silly have done is they've bundled the 2 together, making sure that you are taking those savings from each of those bundles and giving you an additional little saving as well. So you've got £10 saving from your one day special. You've got £3 saving from Frank and Friends, and then you've got an additional £3 saving. Bring that price down to, as you can see on your screen there, 2 flexi buys of £29.49. So you're actually saving £16 overall, which I think is a phenomenal saving. And of course, you've got the ability to spread that cost. Don't forget, each one of those 12 projects from your one day special works out just £3.33 each. So that is an incredible bundle. And you've got additional 3 projects within your Frank and Friends bundle. And then, of course, all those wonderful applique pieces that I'm sure you'll be able to find projects for in a blink of an eye. Now, of course, we're looking at issue 3. So issue 3, if you're wanting to get hold of this as you bundle together, then this is what you're going to get, 032376. Now, of course, what you can do is add this into your basket, but you might be thinking, well, hang on, edition 3, what happened to edition 1 and 2? Well, we've got those on the website, and I'll tell you how you can get hold of those in a few moments. But what you've got there is the latest edition, and of course, Frank and Friends, coming to you for just £58.98. What an absolute bargain. Now, of course, it is an hour with Craft Yourself Silly, and as we regularly do find within their hours, they bring us a lovely happy hour, and that's what we've got in this one. And you've got your flower foot. Now, this is brilliant. It's like an embroidery foot that will allow you to use your standard stitches on your machine to create the most incredible flower details. And have a look at these. These can be just simple things like your zigzag stitch that you've got on your machine, but altering the different kind of sizes and the density and the width of those stitches, you can get totally different results. Now what you're getting with this one is the flower stitching foot. You're also going to get full instructions with that, and of course you are going to get the wonderful panel that you can see that has been stitched on already. Just gives you something to get started with. The flower stitch tool, brilliant tool. Whether I don't know if we'll get to see this in action during this now, but what you've got here is this, I mean, it does look like a big foot, but it's very, very clever, and it's always a very popular item, even more so when we have got a happy hour deal on it. So £9.99 does come with full instructions though, so if we don't manage to demonstrate it during this hour, then you will know exactly what to do when you get it home. So 310298. Now on the website you're going to find everything that we've been chatting about. That's where you can actually get issue 1 and 2 together as a bundle if you're wanting to, with all of the projects. Again, there's 24 projects over the 2 of those, which you can get by just jumping onto the website. Check out some of the reviews if you so choose, and then of course you can get the latest edition, number 3, either by itself as the one day special or taking advantage of that bundle with Frank and Friends as well, with an even bigger saving. To be honest, that's the way that most of you are getting hold of your one day special, alongside little Frank. So yeah, if you fancy doing that, then by all means please do so. Now obviously we've got demonstrations with Hayley throughout the one day special shows, but I know many of you will have those original Fabazines, and I would love to see what you have been creating using those, because of course if you've been collecting these since April, then I'm sure you will have some, if not all of those projects completed. So why not share them with us? studio@hochanda.com if you would like to get in touch and share those photos. But what are we creating in the first project, Hayley?
Okay, the first one we're doing is the duck doorstop. So there are 3 kind of main panels in there. So you're getting 2 that are like that with the kind of curved neck on, and then you're getting one that's like almost like a skittle shape. That'll be down the centre of the body, and then you're getting 4 feet pieces, because they're going to go back to back, and then there are 3 bits for the beak, of which I seem to have misplaced 1, so we'll worry about that in a minute. So first of all I'm going to start with the body pieces. Now I've tried to design this so you can actually sew it quite easily on a machine.
Okay.
And the first step is plenty of pins, just lining up one edge of that skittle piece with what would be the inside curve. So if you're looking at it from the top, then it's this inside curve here, because this is where the tummy panel is going to join on. So that's the one that I'm attaching at the minute, and I would do these one at a time. I wouldn't try and pin both of these and then sew them all in one hit. Okay. I would definitely suggest doing them. Have I put half my pins in one way around and half my pins in the other way around? No, it's all fine. Bit of a panic. Okay, so I'm just pinning this in place, and because it's kind of cut on the curve, you do have a tiny bit of stretch in there, but all the seam allowances are already added in for you, and they're exactly the same. So you should be able to just line up the edges of the fabric, pin all this in place. Oops, got a thread there. Pin all this in place and then sew along the edge. But when I'm going to sew along the edge, I'm actually going to use a quilting foot. So let me just pop this last pin that I've got in here, and then I'll show you the quilting foot I'm going to use, because it's actually got a little 1/4 inch guide along the edge of this foot. If I just turn it over, you might be able to see it better. There's a little kind of almost like a little blade on this side here, okay, which is going to keep that guide nice and straight for me when I'm sewing it along. So I'm going to swap to that foot, and then we'll attach this first side, and then from there it's fairly straightforward. So let me just switch this out and I'll pop this one on. And what that 1/4 inch is going to do is going to just allow me to have that guide without having to worry about moving the fabric left and right. All I've got to do is keep it up against the little kind of finger that's coming out of the side there, and that will do that 1/4 inch for me. So line this up. Now, sewing it top or bottom, it really is whatever you feel is easiest for you. I think it's easier to sew with the skittle bit on the bottom, because that's got less movement in it than the one on the top. So, flip it over, there we go. Oh, I'm going to have to sew it this way around, because that's the way I put my pins in. Okay, so take that first one out, and then using that as a guide, I'm just going to sew all the way around that edge. Okay, and then all the way down this side, and then I'm going to repeat that same process to attach the other side, and that's going to have most of our duck together. And all I'm doing is, especially around this head part, because that's where you've got the most kind of most fabric and most manipulation to do, I'm just making sure that I'm keeping everything out of the way so I don't get any little tucks or pleats in there. Quickly whiz down here. And there is a line printed on there for you to follow, so it's always worth coming in a little bit from that, just to make sure that you can't see that line once it's turned right side out. Let me just move that a little bit. There we go. And once you pass the head, it's a lot easier because it just sits a lot flatter once you pass the head.
You don't need a fancy machine for this, just
No,
a straight stitch.
Straight stitch is absolutely fine on this. That's exactly what you want.
Could you hand stitch it if you wanted to?
I mean, I've always hand stitched these in the past, because we always tend to put a 3D project in, like either a soft toy, or this time it's a doorstop, or we tend to do something that's 3D in there, because I think it's a different type of sewing. It's a different skill, and that's what kind of Fabazine is about for me. It's about kind of putting as many different techniques and skills into there as I possibly can, so you can, people can learn as they go, but learning with nice small projects that are achievable. I think I might have a crease in there, but we'll see when we turn it right side out. And you're going to go all the way around to the end of the tail, so I'll have to pop a couple of the pins back in. And just get that to come right the way round to the end, to the tail here. So can I have a minute just to pop that last couple of pins
not a
in,
problem at
and
all.
I'll sort that out?
Not a problem at all, because of course Hayley is working with obviously your Fabazine projects, and this is the key thing. You've got so many wonderful projects you can be able to create, including the doorstop that she's working on at the moment. Actually got 12 projects all together, so you can see there the doorstop there where he looks like he's literally having a little peck at the ground there. That is the project that Hayley's working with. She just used toy stuffing on this occasion, but of course if you do add your beads in there, then what you can actually do is weight him, and so he's going to stand more like a doorstopper. Then of course you've got that fabulous colourful quilt you can see with the clamshells. This duck does not want to stand up, does he? Oh, I see. Oh, that'll be what it is then. His feet aren't on. Okay, fair enough then. Now have a look at these quilts. I mean, this is beautiful. I didn't realise. Sorry. And now the quilt that you can see here has been created using that clamshell technique, which can be a little bit scary to say the least, but what Hayley has done is put together a series of templates which are included with your Fabazine, so you're going to learn how to create using those to get the curvature of your clamshells in a nice and easy way of doing so. So those are included, so you can go on and use those way after you have used fabrics from the panel. I mean, the fabrics for the panel are for your projects more so from the quilts. Clamshell in number 3, and I think there's one project. There's always a project that has like a template or something you can keep where we don't put the fabric in for that, and it's up to you to decide how you want, what colours and things you want to use on that one. In number 3, it's the clamshell. In number 2, it's the spiral cabin panel. And then in number 1, it's the Tessa Patch template. But in this particular one, it's the clamshell. Wonderful. So the clamshell, you're going to be able to use that over and over again. Don't forget the fabric panel is 2 metres long. There's a lot of fabric included within that panel with your different projects. I mean, you've got your 12 different projects, and that's if you're using them in the way that they were designed. Don't forget things like those mug cozies, the little covers for your mugs. We saw how somebody actually added in their own fabrics and doubled the quantity of those, so that actually would turn those into, rather than just being one project, to turn them into 4. So if you're frugal with these, like with the cushion, I mean, you've got obviously the slash technique that you're going to be able to learn that Hayley touched on a few moments ago, but it depends on how you're wanting to work with this. You might want to incorporate some of your own fabrics to reveal the design. It might be that you're wanting to back it with another fabric that you've got in your stash, and then you can maximise and use that cotton ball fabric for something completely different. It's entirely up to you. But what you have got is the means for you to create all these fabulous projects. Makeup bags, the pattern for this, if you wanted to trace it off from the template, because of course You don't have to cut out any patterns, lay them down, cut them out. You're just simply cutting the fabric panel out and putting it together. But there is nothing stopping you taking those pattern pieces when you've cut them out, trace around them, and then basically create them again. You've got your little apron as well, and don't forget that apron is all printed, but you're going to learn how to do all the different elements, putting that apron together, making a fabulous gift for yourself, or maybe a gift for somebody else. But again, it's unique fabric that has been designed and printed by Craft Yourself Silly to create the most incredible little project, as you can see. And it's a first time sewer. I have to say, who is it who did this one?
Josh did that one.
Josh has created the most incredible little pinny, as you can see there, because all the fabric has been printed.
He'd never sewn a stitch, so we took him through bias binding. But this is the advantage, because Josh has never sewn. I think sometimes his instructions are better than mine because he is clearer.
Yes,
looks at it as I miss bits because I'm thinking, oh, well, you just do that. No, but he's much, much better at the instructions. And for a first time sew, I was very impressed. It's very neat, isn't it?
I'm not surprised. Now, of course, your little apron has got your bias tape. Well, your bias tape is included within the kit. Your mug cozies that we were talking about, if you've got some elastic, that is included. Fabulous tulips, when you're creating those and putting them into your vase, you'll need your straws. They are included.
And of course, paper as well, not plastic.
No,
so
that's true, yeah.
All good.
Very much so.
Environmentally all good.
You've also got your threads, so your embroidery project that you've got all your threads. Contents will vary with regards to the threads, but you can get a good array of colour. You're also going to get your zip, so your zip is perfect for your little makeup bag. And then, of course, you are going to be able to add in your own fabrics if you're wanting to, and take advantage of things like those templates. Now, of course, we have been celebrating our birthday, so your birthday bonus with this particular one is your fabric panel that will give you your little bear that you can then embroider. And it's up to you the colours that you choose. It will come to you just like so. If you have a look on your screen, you will see this. You've got that panel with all the different elements there and the layout of the stitches. So you can stitch it in whatever colour you so choose. It's entirely up to you.
That, as a panel, we sell for £9.99.
Oh, wow.
So
that is good value for money. Yeah, so
we've been very generous.
Yes,
it's his birthday.
Very, very generous. So yeah, if you fancy getting hold of your panel, then the only way you can get a hold of it during this hour is with that fabulous gift option. But of course, you might not be going for your one day special by itself. You might be going with it alongside your Frank and Friends set. And this is lovely because you'll get a second panel if you go for this option, where you will get all of those different projects. We've got 3 different projects. So the bag, which is a substantial bag. Now, we did mention that with the Fabazine, you will need to add in some of your own bits and pieces. That's not the case with this one, other than your thread, because you will get your fabric panels, which will allow you to create your sides, your fronts, and you've got your pockets. All a unique design, all celebrating Hayley's little friend, Frank. And what you've got is you've got 3 projects. So you've got the bag that we've just touched on. You've got a little purse, and you've also got your little scissor keeper. And they are all detailed within the panel. And again, you've got full instructions within your book that you're going to be able to follow through. But what you've also got in addition is things like your little zip there for your purse. You've also got your felt there for your scissor keeper. And you've also got your foam there that's going to help you put your bag together. So you don't have to find those are included. Now the price on your screen has got £3 saving, but that isn't including the savings that you'd get with those individually. So you've got a £10 saving on your one day special, you've got a £3 saving on your Frank and Friends, so that's £13 saving. But then because you're going for them both together, you are saving another £3, bringing that price down to £16. Bringing the total down by £16, should I say. So overall you're paying £58.98. Don't forget you can save as well on your post and packing. And did you realise that with our Freedom membership now, that has dropped down in price? So for just £5.97, you could become a Freedom member and not pay any postage for the whole calendar month, rather than £6.97, because you might be adding in some other bits like Fabazine 1 and 2. Now, if you're adding these in alongside, then you've got additional post and packing. But of course, if you're a Freedom member, then you don't have to worry about it. If you're going for these 2 together, you can see you've got 2 flexi buys of £39.99. And you can go for them, just the 2 of them. As you can see there, with you saving the £10, you probably will have individual savings on each of those bundles as well. But this is the way that you can get hold of your £242.82 worth of projects at an absolutely incredible price, as you can see there on your screen. And again, when you break it down, you are getting 24 projects for that price there, and it works out at £3.33 again per project. And of course, if you do want the latest edition, then you can add that in either by the One Day Special or the bundle with Frank and Friends alongside it. How are you getting on over there, Hayley?
I am almost done. I've added both sides now. I'm just on the tail piece of the last side. Again, I've run out of blooming pins. So all I've done is the way that I showed you to do the first side, I've done exactly the same thing to attach the second side. And then I'm going to just sew this round to the end. And I'm not too worried about getting it an exact match on the end at the minute, because I can kind of sort that a little bit later. So I think that'll do me. And let's take this out. So once I've got my two sides together, you can see it's kind of starting to take shape a little bit there with the, if I put it this way out, there you go. You can see it's starting to take shape a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
The next step is to fold the two pieces completely flat together along this back edge, and you're going to sew from the top to about, I would say, well, the thing is, it depends on what you're going to stuff it with. So if you're going to stuff it with the kind of beans to make it doorstop, then what I would do is attach it together at the bottom and come up probably about 2 or 3 inches, enough so you can get your beans in his bottom without them spilling out. So you need to come up, maybe I would even go a tiny bit more than that. But what you don't want to do is leave yourself a curved bit to stitch when you're sewing it back together. So I'm going to come off of that curve, and I'm going to come up one more. And what I tend to do to remind me to stop is just double pin there. And then I'm going to leave a little gap. So what would be a relatively straight piece to sew here.
Okay, yeah.
And then I'm going to put it again, double pin in, so I remember to stop. And then I'm going to pin those two pieces all the way together to the top. So this is a much simpler sew than the first pieces, because these will line up exactly. It's exactly the same shape.
I love it.
So
and now we have been very, very busy. Busy for your One Day Special, but also busy for the bundle with Frank and Friends as well. So updates for you with regards to those bundles. Frank and Friends and the One Day Special together, 20% of the stock has gone. We had a lot of these. Now, if it's just the One Day Special that you're going for, a quarter of the stock has gone. So just to let you know that. And of course, we are very busy, as we always are, with Fabazine launches. So if you're wanting the latest edition, One Day Special is the way to go, or with that set alongside Frank, or maybe you are going to go for sets 1 and 2, because we still do have those available. And of course, you can go for those alongside this, and then you'll get all of the editions up to date. How are you getting on there, Hayley?
I'm done and pinned. I've got like one, maybe 2 more to put in the head there. And that's where these lines that we've printed on, which are, you can see are black, are really, really handy at this point, especially on these white bits, because you can kind of just about see one through the other, so you can get them lined up, and then you know you've got everything exactly in the right place, and then just stitch a fraction in from those lines, and that will give you your 1/4 inch. So with the head, there's a brown patch on the head. This is modelled after Boris, who's one of the other ducks, and Boris has a little brown patch on his, and then he has a full kind of brown suit, and he's very cute. He's very cute, very nice. Also,
How
maybe
many
a girl
ducks
though.
have you got then? I thought you'd
I've got 5
5
now.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, well, we had Frank, and then we thought, oh, the internet said that Frank needed friends. Frank's going to be lonely, the internet said. Get Frank some friends, the internet said. Frank hated his friends. He's all right with them now.
Okay.
But in the beginning, it was
He probably
dreadful.
liked all the attention to himself.
Well, he just didn't know what they were, because he'd never seen ducks.
Okay.
He'd only seen people. So he was a bit freaked out, but he's fine now. It's all good. So this is done. I'm going to go from the, well, say nose, up the top here. Now, it is in the instructions of where you start and where you stop here. So it's just about the top there. So I'm going to start there, come all the way down to where I've double pinned and double back, and then do the tail and double back as well. And then we're going to leave this open, and then that's going to be the next step, is to add the beak.
Wonderful.
How long have we got? Oh, we've got ages. We're going to easily crack this. I'm going to easily do this. course, panicking that we wouldn't have enough time. We're going to be okay. Okay. Right. So this is a bit of an easier sew because you're not having to manipulate the fabric out the way so much. You're just having to kind of twist and turn it around those curves, and then watch out for your pins, making sure you take those out as you go. And I'm just sewing just to the inside of that black line because I don't want to be able to see that when I turn everything right side out a little bit later. And obviously where he's got the white neck, I'll find a picture. I'll go and take a picture of Boris so I can bring it in for tomorrow, and you can see it is the same duck. I was going to make it Frank, but then Frank's all kind of looks all black, and then it wasn't very exciting. It didn't have a pattern on it. So I had to go for Boris instead. But all of the patterns, all of the fabrics that we've brought you in Fabazine 1, 2 and 3 are all available as individual, I think it's a pick and mix of either 3.5 meters or something along those lines.
Oh, I don't know.
So if you've done one of the previous projects and you like the fabric and you want a bit more to do something else, then you can absolutely get those as well.
Wonderful. Just going to pop those details up on the screen so as you can see exactly what Hayley's referencing to. This one, you're going to be able to choose any 3.5 meters of your fabrics from your pick and mix range, and there are all sorts on there. And as you heard Hayley say, if you've seen these before, then you can just go for these if you're wanting to. There's loads of selection on there, and you'll recognise some of these, I am sure. So you can choose. There's jelly beans there that we've seen from some of the projects as well. The pencils, and of course, the pencils did feature in issue 1. Which is the one that we launched right away back in April. And the pencil fabric was used in one of the projects, one of the 12 projects, again from issue number 1, which created this fabulous little pencil roll, as you can see here, with all that gorgeous pencil fabric on there. Isn't that clever? So yeah, this is one of the projects from issue number 1. Now, issue number 1 and issue number 2 are available together. Got the details on your screen there. So that is one of the projects, but you have got so much more within this bumper bundle. So you've got things like the camper van bag. I mean, this is fabulous. Love this. On both sides, you have got the print showing you, obviously, you're travelling along the country road there, and you can see you've got your camper van on one side and your country road on the other, which you could do a little bit of embroidery on if you wanted to, really, couldn't you, as well? Other ways you might want to work with those
that one
panels?
Comes with a template, that one, and it's a turned edge applique template, that one. So fabulous. You can do it, there's 2 different options there. You can see Patty's done that sample and she's just satin stitched it, but you can actually fold the fabric round the templates and have it as a full turned edge applique if you wish.
There you go. So it's all about choices. The booklet, obviously, that comes alongside it will give you those options. Saw the fabrics online for the jelly beans. Well, the jelly beans were used on a project here, as you can see here, another little bag, and this is almost like a little lunch bag, isn't it? This was from Fabazine number 2, and you can see this was a project that's printed onto the panel, but of course if you want more of the fabrics, then you can go down that pick and mix route if you're wanting those. Other projects that featured in issue 2, you've got your fabulous bag here, or box should I say, with your gorgeous water lily featuring on there again. So this is another of those projects that you were able to create. You actually got some projects where you were able to keep the elements that you'd got afterwards, because you were actually getting a weaving loom in there as well. So this is something that you could use obviously with your strips of fabric and create with that one. A little bit of fabric for maybe it's a case that you're going to embroider this, or maybe you're going to add your colour. I'm just going to pop that within the basket there actually, so it's somewhere to store it. So this was a little bit of fabric painting, and again you can see you could do that with a little bit of hand embroidery if you wanted to. Another of your projects, and you saw this fabric again featuring on the website with the turtles, with all the little circles featuring there, but again you've got a little bit of applique work, not applique, embroidery work going on there. What are the projects? Oh, there was the game. I forgot about the tic-tac-toe style game. So this one is brilliant because it's actually noughts and crosses. And Hayley had included the little MDF playing pieces that you've got. You could actually embroider these. So that was your cross, because obviously he's looking cross. And your happy face was your nought. There you go. And you've got your little bag to keep all your pieces in and full instructions. And again, this was printed on the panel, ready for you to create this and have loads of fun. So you're having fun at the same time as doing all that sewing as well. And again, between the two of them, you've got 24 projects. And that's if you're following them and using the fabric panel in the way that it's described. But you know and I know, if you start incorporating your own fabrics, you're going to get way more than 24 projects. Now at £3.33, that is a brilliant value price, because at £79.98 you will get all those projects on those panels, and of course those elements, certain elements that you're able to keep afterwards that you're going to be able to continue to use. In fact, if you're looking at the regular price of these, you're looking at £242 or nearly £243 worth of crafting projects for you to get stuck into. The hippo, I love the hippo, I've forgotten about him. And again, another little purse there, and again you've got an art piece there, very similar to the lady that we're seeing on the apron, but this one is a little organiser. So you've got little pockets down the side here, which gives you the ability to put things in, pens, it could be your quilting rulers, it could be rotary cutters, all projects that you could be using, but of course it's your panel. So that's the way that it was designed, and I think the MDF frame, we've got those available on the website, but of course you could create it in whatever way you're wanting to. So there you go, you can see this one has been created using applique, incorporating other fabrics, going on top, creating a real pop art look to it. And again, it's your panel, you can decide. And Heather, the lovely Heather, has created that one. So Heather, thank you for your inspiration, as is the case with the whole of the design team. Thank you to everybody. Now, of course, our happy hour deal for this hour has been that flower shaping foot. You've not got long to take advantage of this one. You've only got 20 minutes, in fact. So 310298. It has been a very, very popular happy hour deal, but you've still got time to get hold of it with that £3 saving at just £9.99. And of course, you can add that in alongside your one-day special bundle and spread the cost over 2 payments if you're wanting to. How's your little duck coming along, Hayley?
It's doing well. It's doing well. So I've turned that one is kind of ready to be turned right side out. But before you do that, you need to add the beak onto here. So that gap there is where you're going to add your beak. Now I've lost my bottom bit. I cut everything out ready for demos, and I've lost one of the bits off the bottom. So we sew up that. They're like little, almost like little slippers. They look like little slippers, don't
cute.
they? So you sew that top edge, and it shows you where to start and stop. And then once you've done that top edge, you open it out, and then there's a piece that goes on the bottom there. So that's your next piece to sew in, but I have lost that. So we will crack on with that. Once you've got that all sewn together, then what you'll do is you'll put your beak, you'll turn it right side out, and put it inside the face, and then lining up your 3 seams, so the one at the top and then the 2 at the side. You line up all of those seams and then stitch that all in around, and that puts your beak in. Once the beak's in, you can flip it right side out, which is where kind of we're at now. So I've put a nice amount of stuffing in the head. I would put plenty in the beak. I haven't put quite enough in here, and you can see the beak's a little bit floppy on the end. Or if you are going to put peas and beans in, I would put obviously dried ones, not in a tin. Oh, you'd be surprised. Not like baked beans, like dried peas and stuff. Put some in the beak, because that will help to weigh it down and help it hold position. You want plenty of stuffing in the neck, because you want that to be nice and solid. And then I'm going to take some of this out because I want to attach the feet. So I'll leave that bit in for now, and then just position the feet. The feet come together really, really easily, actually. I'll show you this one because it's open at the bottom. So step 1 is to sew round the toes, really. So you're going to start at the heel here, going to sew up to there, and then round those little kind of curves on the toes and in between the webs as well. So you do that all as one, and you leave that gap at the back. You flip it right side out, and then you sew 2 V shapes between the toes, and then from the back there with something really thin, something like a chopstick or a one of the little wooden kebab skewers, but not the pointy end. You just put tiny bits of stuffing in to create the shape there, and then you just stitch up the back to seal everything in. And once you've done that, then it's a case of attaching them to the duck. So I'm going to go little toes on the outside, kind of just put it on there to position it. This one obviously hasn't got the back sewn yet, but we'll just put them in place to position it. So once we're happy, I quite like it sticking out the side a bit more, as you can see his feet. Okay, once you're happy, then if you pin that in position, so I'm going to hold that, flip it upside down, and just crack a pin in it for a second, and then I would hand stitch these, and I would do them just nice big solid tacking stitches right in the corner of these feet here. I've got some red thread, so do you know what, I'll do it in red. I did have some red thread, which I've now promptly lost. Oh, blue, that'll do. I'll tack it in blue so you can see what I've done, and that will hold both of those on. I mean, it's a doorstop, it's not likely to be kind of chucked around, but if you are going to give it to children, then make sure they're, you know, on really, really securely. And then last of the beans in to make that sit really nicely, and then fill the stuffing up, and then it's just a ladder stitch to finish.
Wonderful.
But I'll thread a needle and I'll pop those feet on. And how long have we got?
About 10 minutes or so.
Oh, I can maybe do a mug rug in 10 minutes.
Okie dokie.
Okay.
Did you want to show us the flower foot at all, or?
I can go get one out of the box.
One or the other, so it's entirely up to you.
Ooh.
I'll leave you to peruse and have a think about that one.
I don't know.
It's tough call. But of course, the fabulous, I nearly said book stop then, it's not a book stop, it's a doorstop that we've been creating. I was about to point to him, but then he's not here anymore. What we have got though is your teddy. That's okay, don't worry. What you have got here though is your teddy, and don't forget your teddy pattern is your free gift. You're going to get a panel that you are going to be able to embroider and create your own fabulous little teddy bear, dependent on the colour of the threads that you work with. Obviously gives you the different result. Very neutral tones on this one, but the one that Hayley has got have got much brighter tones in there. So that is your free gift, regardless of what you're ordering during this hour. Even if you are going for the happy hour, you will get that panel. It's just worth mentioning, but lots of you are getting hold of them using either the complete bundle that we've been talking about with the One Day Special and Frank and Friends, or you've been going for issues 1 and 2. Now, talking about issue 3, you've got loads of projects, as we've been touching on here. You've got 12 projects in total, including your printed panel that we've got behind us. It's 2 meters of fabric, giving you the means for you to create all your different projects. Now, all the maths has been done. There's no paper patterns for you to enlarge. There's no paper patterns for you to kind of pin in place and then cut around and then try and figure out and then have waste fabric, to be honest. You can see what Hayley has done is put all those different elements there strategically placed to maximise the area. So when you are cutting it out, do keep your eye open, because you might have a certain area like your thread catcher where you've got your rectangle there, but then you'll have the circle for the base somewhere else. So do keep an eye open, but then you'll be able to match up those fabrics wherever you're looking. And
I remembered something else.
Okay.
The cotton, all of the scraps from around the edges, the white bits from around the edges and in between different projects, keep them all, because that's what you're going to use in your cotton ball cushion project to create the backing which you're going to slash through.
Oh, I see.
All those layers.
Oh, I see. So
I've
all
used
the gaps.
all of those scraps to create that layer that comes in between.
So the scraps in between the little projects,
all those
here,
little tiny bits you're going to
okay.
use.
Keep
them, you're going to use them. Okay, I have very quickly, in quite bright blue thread, stitched his feet on. Just so you can see, it's really, really simple. That's all you're after. Oh, I've bent my pin. Put that over there. There you go. That's all you want. If you want to attach it a little bit further up as well, so you've got a little bit more secure, then I would do it just in those edges where your stitch marks are. But you can see I've attached it down the bottom there. It's blue thread, but you can hardly see it. And then you can go ahead, put the stuffing back in, and you are away.
Wonderful.
And that is that one.
Lovely.
Oh, I've made a right mess. Right, okay. Have I got time to do mug rug, do you reckon?
Yeah, let's go for it.
So this one's really, really simple. I've used a little bit of red felt as the kind of batting or the kind of insulation, if you will, in this one. And this one's a really, really simple one. So you're going to cut your 2 pieces out. Now you can either do them to the same, or as a tractor did, you can add bits and pieces in there to make it a little bit more exciting and make them go even further. So your elastic is included in with your bundle, and what you need to do is ideally first of all measure your mug to make sure you're putting these far enough down that it's going to go all the way around the handle, but you also want it far enough up that it's not going to impede your 1/4 inch seam allowance. And you're going to take both ends and you're going to kind of move them around in a C shape, and you're going to pin them in a straight line though, because what you need to do is when you encase the elastic, it needs to be a straight edge when you encase it. So the layers we've got are the felt on the back, you've got your outer panel and your inner panel. This is completely reversible, so it doesn't really matter which way round you've got them. I need another piece of elastic, which I need to put on the other side. So let me just quickly pin that in, and then we're going to sew all the way around the edge. Just want to make sure that these are lined up at the same height. So it's worth, once you've pinned them, just kind of folding it in half and checking that everything is pinned nice and evenly. Now, if you cut this a bit shorter and it actually stretches this and kind of pulls it together, don't worry about that. You can pull it straight as you're stitching round it. Let me just get one more pin. Okay, so they're all in place. That's on the top. So I'm going to start at the bottom, and again, I would normally double pin either side to make sure that we've got a little bit of a gap for turning it right side out. And I'll quickly whip around this and hopefully have a mug rug done by the end of this.
Now, I was just suddenly thinking, as Hayley's been using pins a lot during this particular hour, one of our 7-day savers is that little haberdashery bundle where you've got your pins included in that one. So that might be a nice one to add into your basket alongside your 1 day special, because in that you've got your glass head pins in there. You've also got loads of other different bits and pieces, things like your needle threader. So anything that you're doing by hand, maybe you're doing some of that embroidery from the Fabazines that we've been talking about. Well, this is a lovely bundle for you to add in alongside. You see, $13.99 is going to get you all 13 of these items. So there you go. You can see your straight pins in there, your sewing needles, a variety of different pins with the little glass beads on there as well. And you've got your threads as well, because of course you are going to need a multitude of different threads there. And you can see there's plenty there for the different projects that we've been featuring. So that's a nice bundle to add in alongside your 1 day special bundle. So 271594 if you're fancying those. We've been busy for Fabazine issue 3, lots of you adding these in. Now over a quarter of the 1 day special has gone, and that is just looking at Fabazine issue 3 by itself. Now whether the people who have bought issue 1 and 2 are now adding to their collection, or whether you are completely new, but of course you can work your way backwards. This might be the first time that you've ever seen Fabazine. Well, Fabazine comes out on a bi-monthly basis, so every other month. Next one will be due in October, and we tried to find out from Hayley what was in there, and she said there's going to be a little bit of Christmas featuring in that one, so make sure that you do get hold of that one, and they're towards the end of the month, so do join us towards the end of October. Look out for it so as you can get hold of yours as well. But of course Fabazine 3 has got 12 projects in, as they all have, and the price works out at just £3.33 per project. So the apron that we're looking at here on our mannequin, that would cost you £3.33 to make. Amazing value for money, because everything that you need, the waistband, the fabric with the cupcakes on, the pocket, the binding, that is all included within your bundle. Now some projects you might need to add a little bit of something else in there. It might be you need to add a little bit of wadding, which many of us have got in our stash. Like the little quilt down at the front. I love this with the clamshells on there. Just going past the mug cozy that Hayley's making at the moment. Then you've got your clamshells. The clamshells, of course, created using the template that you're getting within your Fabazine, and of course the template you can continue to use way after you completed that first project. That one you're going to bring in your own fabrics, because with that one, that's personal choice, but it's because you are getting those templates, and that's just scratching the surface of some of the items that you've got within here. How are you getting on with your mug cozy? You finished it?
Boom, done it.
Wow.
So the last job I have is just to trim the corners, and I'm double trimming those just to make sure that we've got enough to have nice sharp corners on. So the last job now is to turn it right side out. There we go. Get the other side out. And then it's just top stitch around the edge. Wonderful. There's the elastic on either side. You can see, there's the elastic on one side.
Almost looks like a face mask that you've made here, doesn't it?
I'm not advocating the use as face masks of mug rugs. No. Tea only, or maybe coffee, or maybe hot chocolate. So your last job is to just tuck those in, pin all that, I would press that in place before you start, and then just do a little top stitch all the way around that outer edge. And it's a nice height, so if you've got your standard mug, it shouldn't kind of get in the way of drinking the contents.
Well, this is it.
It's always a worry.
It's always about the contents, isn't it? Keeping them as warm as you possibly can for as long as you can.
Exactly.
And of course, Hayley's used the two fabrics either side of that from the panel. But as you saw earlier on, where I'm just trying to find them, if you're wanting to add in your own fabric, you can actually maximise. So rather than making two of those cosies, you're going to make two with the outer tulips, and then you're going to make two with the inner tulips, and then just add in your own contrasting fabric, as you can see there. And that really is maximising those projects, meaning you're getting a two for one of those, as you can see there. So £29.49 is one of your flexi buys on this one. Means that you can get those goodies on their way to you. And of course it means that you can add other bits into your basket alongside, like the happy hour. If you're adding this in alongside your one day special and obviously your flexi order, it's only going to be £5 extra, but the price of this is going to go up by £3. So please do make sure you take advantage of that while you have the opportunity. Get it into your basket, but get your basket checked out, because you do not want to be paying the higher price on this. And of course, if you are going for your one day special, do consider going for it with the bundle, where we have got fabulous Frank and Friends projects to work alongside. Now Hayley, you're back up the hour straight after the break.
They like to work me hard when I come down.
And then we're going to meet up with you at 8 o'clock for another look at the one day
I'm swapping
special.
for Paula for a bit, and then I'm back with you.
Love it. There you go. So don't go anywhere. We've got Hayley coming up after the break with some amazing fabric bargains for you. So do stay tuned for that one. We will team up with you again at 8 o'clock, and then I will be back at 9 o'clock with a welcome to the weekend show. So look forward to seeing you a bit later.